Questions are being raised about what changes could be made to ensure children and staff are safe as they return to school today after a spate of anti-Semitic attacks. Our reporter Miles Holbrook-Walk is at Jewish school Mount Sinai College, where one of the latest attacks occurred. Good morning, Miles. First of all, what's the mood there like after these concerning incidents?
Well, James, today we're going to see students come back to Mount Sinai College, and you can probably see already behind me that they're coming back to an odd sight at this point, which is a painted over wall. Why this fresh paint? You might be able to see the two distinctive colours. Well, that's because there was anti-Semitic graffiti, highly offensive and racist language spray painted on these walls on the early hours of Thursday morning that was thankfully removed so children won't have to walk past it again as they come to school. It's still quiet here as it's quite early in Sydney and children not required at school just yet. But when they do, not only will they have the regular security operations that many Jewish schools across Sydney have had even before Operation Shelter, a New South Wales proactive policing program kicked off, but they may also be contending with new additional security staff and potentially police patrols as well. And that's because we've seen a flurry of political activity to really try to ensure to students, indeed staff, as well as the families of children coming here, that they will be safe when going to school. There is legitimate cause for concern that the Randwick Mayor Dylan Parker has spoken about when he's spoken to parents as well as staff at Mount Sinai College. As well, we've also seen the federal shadow education spokesperson Sarah Henderson speak to this idea as well, that she said the federal coalition will be looking at whatever additional supports it can provide to the school should it win government at the forthcoming federal election on a date yet to be set. But you can already see there are significant movements. It is worth noting that this school sits just a couple of hundred metres from a childcare centre that was firebombed on Tuesday last week. So very recently, this very street has dealt with not only this graffiti that I've talked about earlier, but also the fact that there was another incident at a non-Jewish childcare centre that was targeted, largely police believe, because of its proximity not only to this Jewish school, but also to the Maroubra synagogue, which is just down the lane that I'm standing on.
Now, of course, Miles, this is not the only incident being investigated in Sydney at the moment. There's that major investigation into a caravan with explosives discovered inside it earlier this month in Sydney's northwest. Can you tell us what's the latest with that investigation?
Yeah, so we've got the Police Commissioner, Karen Webb, at this stage talking about the several points of inquiry that are crucial to police. Among them is how a series of explosives, potent explosives, power gel, that's typically used on mining sites in New South Wales, has ended up in a caravan on a very quiet street in the semi-rural part of Sydney in Dural. Now, it is believed that power gel is used in mining operations. However, one expert who's spoken to the ABC mentioned that really power gel hasn't been used commonly across mine operations for some time, and he hypothesised that it could well be that this material was stolen some time ago and had been kind of sitting dormant before getting into the hands of whoever planted them there in this caravan. So that will be a point of inquiry for police. Additionally, we now know that two people have been allegedly named in a search warrant. They are Tammy Farugia, who's facing separate charges in relation to other alleged anti-Semitic offending by police in the suburb of Wallara in the eastern suburbs, while Scott Marshall, who's also in police custody already, again on separate charges not relating to the Dural incident as yet. No one has actually been charged in relation to that Dural incident either, it is worth noting, and there has been a sentiment expressed not only by the Police Commissioner Karen Webb, but also by Premier Chris Minns, that there are people within the community who have information. They want them to be forthcoming and to cooperate with police immediately.